but here's what he did.
Rhyme it. Do you know how to rhyme it? Oh, please just rhyme it.
And he really gets into it.
Do you know how to rhyme it?
Yes, of course.
We will
you don't even
be
have to think
rocking
about it.
LA. So let's rhyme it today. Rhyme it.
Yes.
We are gonna rhyme it. Just rhyme
That's
it.
where he just ran down.
Everybody
Amazing.
I'm not going to remember any of it.
That's good. That's the way to go.
All over the rhymes today and rhyme it.
I mean, now he's like on his feet.
How are you guys?
Whose
house? Wow.
Rhyme it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Rams Brothers, the pod. I'm your host, Dean, and I'm joined by the other host of this show, Nick. And Nick is wearing a Donkey Kong shirt today. Nick, how are you?
Seth Rogen Donkey Kong impression? I'm good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I'm looking at this team. I'm seeing a third string quarterback. I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing Rams at home, and I still don't feel convinced that they're going to win.
I'm going to have a hard time convincing you in this episode. I try to do it every single week. There may be some compelling points that I could add to the narrative, but at the same time, it's going to be another difficult game. That's what it is week to week when you're the defending champs and you're dealing with injuries at every single position. It seems like
You're the second least scoring offense.
I mean, can you believe it? I don't even know how far we've actually come. We've fallen from Super Bowl glory, but opportunity to get back in the saddle, opportunity to win another game, get into the bye week, get healthy, and see the 49ers again.
An opportunity to bet online. Football is back, and Bet Online remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, the latest matchups, player news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all sports wagering info, Bet Online features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest, always the easiest. Bet your favorite sports events, MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, golf. Head to betonline.ag to join. Receive your 100% bonus, welcome bonus with your first deposit. Promo code BLEAV to receive your rewards. Bet Online, where the game starts now.
Promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, and bet on the Rams, hopefully. Okay, so the Carolina Panthers are 1-4 on the season. The Rams are 2-3, as we know. They lost to the Cleveland Browns in week 1 by 2 points. They lost in a very close game to the New York Giants in week 2. They beat the Saints in week 3 by 8 points, then went on to lose to Arizona by 10, and then they lost to San Francisco last weekend, 37-15. Matt Rule was fired. He had an 11-27 record, which is a .289% winning percentage. He was replaced by interim head coach Steve Wilks, who has been around the organization for a while, coached in college for a bit. And, you know, there's an expectation that there's not going to be a ton of drop off there because it's a guy who's been in the building. Matt Rule didn't necessarily have a great grasp over the locker room over the couple of seasons that he was there. So, you know, it's you're kind of getting everything at once. You're getting a potential backup quarterback. And that's where the Panthers are bad this season. They're bad at quarterback and they were bad at head coach. 2 positions that are going to be potentially replaced against the Rams this weekend.
Absolutely hate the spot we find ourselves in this week. Every time I feel like a team fires their head coach, they want to show that they're better than what they were given. So they always play up. You got to back up Zappy situation, who's probably going to come out and play for his life because it's his one opportunity in the golden state of California. I hate where we're seeing them. This was a written off W earlier in the season. And now I'm like, yeah, I'm the Rams could easily be 2-4. The way that they're playing, the way that they're designing their offense, and the way that the defense is bending and not breaking, but breaking, I cannot feel confident at all in this Rams team. So yeah, it's just it's tough to feel like the Super Bowl reigning champs. I watch our intro, and it's filled with all those clips of the of the Super Bowl highlights and whatnot. And it feels so far away. It feels like eons ago. And now I sit here and I'm like, oh, probably going to give away. You know, I'm expecting a pick 6 this game.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You're going to have to expect the defense to step up and win you games. You're going to expect the defense to get some pressure, generate pressure consistently, get the quarterback out of the pocket, which he's naturally going to do by himself, but get him to make mistakes, right? It's a guy who doesn't play all that frequently. It's a new head coach, quote unquote, new head coach. You have some injuries on the defensive side of the ball for the Panthers. So there's a couple of things. There's a little bit of optimism to be had, but at the same time, I completely understand your sentiment fully, to where it's like you're getting them at the worst possible time. And like Matt Rule, just for example, to paint the picture for you guys as to how bad he actually was, 11-27, 0.289% winning percentage. Scott Linehan, you remember Scott Linehan, Nick, in St. Louis? How could you forget?
Barely. I'm sorry.
Maybe you conveniently forgot because he was a very forgettable face. Went on to coach with the Dallas Cowboys, 0.306% winning percentage, which was he's probably my least favorite coach in the entire St. Louis era. And then Steve Spagnuolo, 0.208%. So Matt Rule smacked right dab in the middle of those two guys, just to give you a frame of reference as to how I would have preferred him over anybody else. And I mean, over the next 3 years, the Panthers are going to give him $42 million for essentially just walking away and being fired. It's a strange situation. Obviously, they have some drama with their general manager, with their owner. So I think there's a lot of moving pieces there, which could then be a trickle-down effect and could be a little bit of a mess of a game. But offensively, we'll talk about the backup quarterback, who I believe is going to be playing in this game, PJ Walker. I think he's a problem. I've watched him play before. He's a good player. It reminds me a little bit of Geno Smith and the kind of resurgence he's had throughout this year.
No.
And yeah, it's not a good feeling. And I absolutely just wish it was Baker Mayfield to go up against. I mean, I don't know if you saw the interception last week where he double pumped once and then pumped again and airmailed it to Christian McCaffrey for a pick six to Emmanuel Mosley. One of the most brutal pick sixes that I've seen in a long time. And the fact that it was the 49ers made it even more painful. But may Rams fans all collectively hold hands and pray that Baker Mayfield magically comes out of a walking boot and can play this Sunday, because that's the kind of mentality that, unfortunately, us Rams fans kind of have to have right now.
Just the fact that it's a backup, and there's an amazing Matt Rule stat. I mean, it's like, can't you wait to fire him this week against the Rams? It's like everything's going wrong this season. But I think he's like 1-20 when giving up 17 points to the other team.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh my gosh. And not even saying that the Rams are going to put up 17. They probably won't. Let's be real. It's just the time you're seeing them. Hecker, I imagine, is going to be begging for like a fake fourth down.
Good point. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, Hecker revenge game. Did the books put that into play when they made this line? Rams -10? Probably not. I bet Hecker probably gets a nice little video celebration. I was going to go to this game, but then I was like, I don't want to watch them lose. I like almost every game I go to, they lose. So I was like, oh, this one they might win, but I hate to be in the position where I'm looking at a team like the Panthers and I'm like, yeah, they might win. Like, what am I, Jets fan?
No, I totally understandable. I think the reason why he was fired is because I was watching that game last weekend against the 49ers, and it was just a sea of red. I mean, you couldn't possibly find a Panthers fan. It looked like it was a 49ers home game. And when you get that much in a stadium, you're looking at it from ownership perspective, from front office perspective, and you're like, we got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, I would wager maybe behind the Commanders, but the Panthers might be the second worst run team in the entire league.
Yeah.
Nothing like bringing in Darnold last year, keeping the head coach, and then this year going after Baker Mayfield when it's like no other team even remotely wanted him. If anything, if you want a tank, stick with Darnold. Like, why would you bring in this guy and pay him? He has done nothing for them. He has done the worst argument for himself I've ever seen to continue being a starting quarterback. It's just, and then now we don't get to see him,
Yeah, that's the most unfortunate part, because around the league, I mean, if you're a fantasy owner of DJ Moore, you're just begging for him to get more target share. And funny stat, DJ Moore has a higher target share with PJ Walker under center. I mean, all fans throughout the league have just been clamoring for more targets for DJ Moore. You're going to get it with PJ Walker. That's the problem. I mean, you're in a situation where Christian McCaffrey's playing good football, DJ Moore, those are their core. I don't think they're going to part ways with either of those guys unless they get insanely
No, I think
offers.
I think it's a fire sale for sure coming up.
I don't
Why
know.
not?
I look at the roster. I feel like they have enough pieces for it not to be a fire sale.
If they have any kind of respect to CMC and what he's brought to this organization, I think you have to get rid of him because this is somebody that doesn't want to probably waste their prime years as a running back. And like, let's be real, his prime years are probably behind him. Like he probably wants to compete. So, and watch, he's going to be like 200 yards on the ground Sunday. You know?
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Like,
no, my
if I'm a head coach for the Panthers or I'm an interim head coach, all I'm doing is giving him the ball on just so much because like that's our best guy. It's like more in him. Like don't go and it's like this Rams team. I'm sure we'll get into this when we talk about the defense, but they love to give you like 5 yards in the air. So why would you leave the run game or do anything outside of quick plays that this little dinky backup Jimmy G like guy can do, and they'll be fine doing that. And the only saving grace of this Panthers team is their defense. And what do we have? The worst offensive line in the league. So this is such a recipe for disaster. Like even more so than last week.
Don't sign yourself up for that quite yet. The season's not over yet. But again, if you lose this game, you're in a really, really shitty position going into
because then the schedule gets so much harder after the bye.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just talking about the Panthers offense for a second, like Christian McCaffrey, I was reading that the Bills inquired about him. I'm sure the Bucks or the Packers inquired about, I don't know exactly. I'm sure everybody's inquiring about Christian McCaffrey right now. I would think the same with DJ Moore. Doesn't mean they're going to give him up, which makes me think that it's not necessarily a fire sale yet. And you know what? 2-4, you win this game. If you're the Panthers, you get a little bit of momentum. You get back to 500 with an interim head coach. You're not in the worst position ever. So that's you're going to see guys. DJ Moore. No, I know, but I'm saying you win a couple games after that. You get back to 500 and you're in a better position. Robbie Anderson is a guy that I think a lot of Rams fans would be interested in seeing. DJ Moore is obviously the X receiver, but Robbie Anderson is the Z, aka the flanker. And I mean, it's the Deshaun Jackson, Brandon Cooks type role, but they do their most damage in that Z position throughout their career, where they could take the top off of defenses. You could be a 2-2 Atwell, and you could, pull a safety away from another player like a DJ Moore to get them up in single coverage versus being doubled down the field. So, I mean, also Laviska Shenault is another guy who may play. I believe that's their fourth receiver or their third receiver. So, like I said, I feel like they have enough offensively to be able to put something together in this game, minus the quarterback play, minus the head coach. I mean, you got guys like Tommy Tremble. He's a guy coming out of Notre Dame in his second year. He has potential to impress. He's a good blocker. He's kind of like their Bryson Hopkins. He's a third-round talent. Hasn't flashed yet in the passing attack, but he's a decent player. And usually backup quarterbacks, Nick, like you saw with Joe Flacco when he came in for the Jets, just pounding the tight end. They like to use their tight ends as a security blanket. So maybe this is a game where Tommy Tremble gets going and you don't necessarily have to worry too much about other players on the field. And if their offense is condensed and they're not trying to take shots, I'm going to feel much better about this game. But PJ Walker is an erratic player. He's going to throw bombs. He's going to run all around the field. Like he's going to give everybody opportunities to try and come in and win this game. And that's just the luck of the draw that the Rams have put themselves in this position. It's not a great matchup, but then, you're going to be looking at the offensive line too. Austin Corbett's back. You talked about Johnny Hecker. You're going to see Austin Corbett again. He's going to start at right guard for the Panthers. And their offensive line is very, very young. We'll talk about the Rams defense here for a second. So 6th overall pick, and Ikem Okwanu will be the left tackle in this game. And then Brady Christensen is in his second year at left guard. And then Pat Eflin at center, Corbett at right guard, and then Taylor Monton at right tackle. So each of those guys on the right side have at least 5 years of experience. So if anything, you're going to see Aaron Donald have a tendency to line up on that left side and then potentially maybe go to head to head with Austin Corbett on the right side for a little action. But you absolutely have to generate pressure in this game. Like, you got to force defensive turnovers. You got to force PJ Walker to make plays out of nothing. You got to force him to make mistakes. And that left side of the offensive line is a potential weakness where the Rams have been a little bit down in pressure. If you could attack that side, you might find yourself in a better position in this game.
I want to look what the over-under is for this game because I feel like it's screaming under. If it's above 44, I might add it to my picks. But the Rams have now faced 3 backup quarterbacks in a row. Jimmy G, technically a backup this year. And they lost to 2.
Yeah, but again, it's Cooper Rush thrown for 102 yards.
Right.
It's the other team's defense and our offense that's putting themselves in that.
It's our offense. They don't need to score that much. I think you're right. The best way to win this game is to make the backup flustered. But then again, on the turnaround, if the Panthers are smart, which I guess they aren't, I would be trying to get the ball out of his hands in like 0.1 second, as fast as possible. Yeah, that would be my game plan. I mean, I don't know why that's not everybody's game plan against the Rams. Like, you completely nullify Aaron Donald when you do that. Yeah, and Raheem Morris just allows those plays to kind of get you down the field. You have to come correct on defense. You need to be you can't let any of those crazy 3rd and 18 Cooper Rush throws to keep them in the game here. Yeah. Oh my God. It's not like there was even bad coverage on that play, right? Like, the dude caught it in the one spot with his tippy toes. Like, that was just insane.
I'm only wagging my finger because that's what Darion Kendrick did after he basically witnessed the catch happening on 3rd and long right in front of his face. Absolutely drove me nuts. The Rams over under, Nick, is in terms of total points is 41.5.
Now that's, what did I say? 44. Look at Vegas. They know exactly
what's coming.
Yeah, but still, I would go under. I mean, it's not going to be one of my official picks, but I would 100% lead under. The Rams are like I said, the second worst scoring offense. They average last 3 games. It's 10, 3, 19.
I think the luck that you'll get in this game is that the Panthers aren't necessarily a smart team, and PJ Walker isn't a starting quarterback for a reason, and he's not even the second string on this team for a reason. If you can he's not the kind of guy that's going to get the ball out in 2.5 seconds. He's not Cooper Rush. He's not Jimmy G. He's a guy who's going to extend every single play possible. If he does get the ball out in 2.5 seconds and you're getting the ball to DJ Moore, to Christian McCaffrey, to Robbie Anderson downfield, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. But on the other end, we're getting some defensive backs back, which is good. We're going to have a little bit of more depth there.
I think
you're just going to have to force the kid to make mistakes.
Getting pushed to the everything we got in this game. Throw everything. I think this has to be the Allen Robinson game. If you don't get him involved, then there's no going back. He's not going to come out from the bye like a magically new player. He has to be involved. He has to be involved early. Short passes to get him the ball. There is no excuse why this guy you can't get the ball in his hands. You need that to happen. And then just overall, I think you have to be better in the red zone, and you have to share the wealth. I want Powell getting the ball. I want Skoranek getting it too. Just everybody. And you got to be doing it fast because our O-line is not going to be ready to, make these big long stops and give Henderson some rushes, for God's sake.
Yeah, please.
What are we doing? Stop lining him up like he's a receiver.
Yeah, I mean, take some pressure off of Cooper Kupp, for the love of God. Mm-hmm. Spread the wealth, come up with some kind of intricate offense.
Placebo decoy is what I want to see from Kupp this week.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially if J.C. Horn isn't playing in this game, he's given up the least number of yards of any starting cornerback through 5 weeks of the season. If he's not able to play, it's a huge win for the Rams. But Steve Wilks came out yesterday and said that JC does have a chance to play on Sunday.
Oh, he'll play.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very good chance that he does play. And in that scenario, if you can alleviate some of that stress and have Cooper Kupp or Allen Robinson driving that traffic with JC Horn away from where you're intending to go with the ball, I think it could put the Rams' offense in a better situation, meaning that other players not named Cooper Kupp, Brandon Powell, Tyler Higbee. I was going to say Lance Kendricks, Kendall Blanton, Bryson Hopkins, who I believe is back this week, Jacob Harris. Like, spread the wealth, get some of these newer guys involved, get them ingrained into the offense, and let Cooper Kupp be able to draw every double team that he could possibly draw. Now, this is the thought process. This is the methodology, philosophy, whatever you want to call it, that they originally did have if the offensive line were to hold up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of the thought process with this offense is you can use Cooper Kupp as a decoy. I think it was against Arizona, or was it against Atlanta, where he only had 4 or 5 catches for a handful of yards and he had that rushing touchdown. You want to be able to kind of reciprocate some of that stuff. Yeah. But I mean, this Panthers defense, Shaq Thompson at linebacker, Corey Littleton. You remember Corey Littleton? He's a good player, went to the Raiders, played for the Rams. He's in the middle when they're in nickel. Brian Burns. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this guy's name all over Twitter at this point if you haven't watched him before. Adding him
this week, at least.
Yeah, this week more so than ever. I think adding him to the Rams, and of course, I think this is being talked about a ton, would be, I think, legitimately doubling the amount of pressures that you've already been able to generate this season. Because right now he has 2 more pressures than Aaron Donald does on the entire season. So you're essentially doubling that if you were to bring him in. And who knows what they'd have to trade. Probably have to give up a 2nd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick to get him, if not more. But he'd be a legitimate scary piece to add to a defense who desperately needs help rushing the passer and is athletic enough to be able to generate consistent pressure. Leonard Floyd, 9 pressures on the entire season. For what that's worth, compared to 24 pressures from Brian Burns, this guy's going to be a problem. And you know what? Joe Noteboom can't catch a damn break. I mean, he goes from Bosa, Von Miller to Bosa to who's next? Who else is coming around the edge? Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Ware. Like, I mean, give him a break. It's just consistently top tier edge rushers coming at us. So it's a good opportunity to potentially add him if there is, quote unquote, a fire sale. If you can't, he's going to be tough against us, and he's going to be tough throughout his entire career because he's a really good player.
Yeah.
So,
everything that I'm seeing this week, I'm like, wait, let me do some more research on this guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow.
He's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it does kind of feel like, and I said this last week, but this has been going on since we started the podcast in 2018, that everything is kind of catching up to us. So often we went for the flashy offensive weapon over drafting like an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman and being like, oh, well, we have the guys in the building. And we have now reached the point where we don't. They're not in there. You're looking around, you can't find them. They're not in the building. So is this our comeuppance? Is this what we deserve? I don't know. We still should have enough to beat a Panthers team. Get to the bye with a win at 500, go 3-3, come out swinging at home against San Francisco. Completely different situation. We're feeling good. We're feeling like we should as Super Bowl champs. We're defending our crown, the NFC West, and so on.
There was something in there that you mentioned that sparked something for me, but I can't put my finger on it.
Was it the building? Was it in the building, or was it get to the bye?
Something about, yes, that was it. It was the building. So that was my fear last year with the Rams. That's why I didn't think they were going to get over the top at times. That's why I felt like that month of November, they struggled so severely because they don't have guys in the building who are beef. Like, you don't have edge rushers. You don't have top tier edge rushers. You don't have top tier defensive linemen outside of Aaron Donald. You just brought in Bobby Wagner to solidify the second level, but it's really Donald, Wagner, and Ramsey. Like, that's it. Everybody else around them aren't necessarily the players that are going to, beat you in the trenches and get you over the top in tough games week to week. And that's why I'm so terrified of the 49ers, because they do that so well.
Yeah. Like, is Greg Gaines on the decline? Where's my boy been?
Yeah, I know. Well, he's a guy that benefits from double teams from other players. Like Von Miller on the defensive line is going to make Greg Gaines look that much better.
Here is, that's so true. Here is a little exercise, Dean. And hopefully you just have this knowledge. I probably wouldn't if I wasn't the one coming up with the exercise, but I'm going to do it. Free agent signing right now, any player, who you going with? My personal answer, he was a Ram in 2018. He played against the Rams in the divisional round of the playoffs.
in 2018. So he'd be on the Cowboys?
No. He was a Ram in 2018. Played against the Rams in the divisional round of the playoffs last year.
Why am I thinking about Roger Saffold? I don't think that's the right answer.
No, it's Ndamukong Suh.
I know everybody wants Ndamukong Suh back. Understandable.
I want
Totally
it
understandable.
because that's the kind of big guy that will allow Donald to, even if he is getting double teamed, you don't want to see that heap of a mountain of a man.
No, I mean, really just any kind of nose tackle that's similar to Suh, I would love. But if you think about it, like Suh's, because he's so big and can clog gaps, that's when you get help from a guard. Center's got to take him on, and then a guard's got to help him. And then if you're double teaming Suh, it alleviates pressure for every other player on that. Nick, I totally agree. Like, I feel like you definitely need some additional help on your defensive line. And it's going to take pressure off Aaron Donald. Like, he's held out of practice yesterday. I think he had limited reps or he didn't practice at all. Like, these guys are worn out. Aaron Donald is doing too much. He's not an edge rusher. Like, he's a defensive tackle. Like, he's going to get worn out if he doesn't. Other players have to be able to take away some of these double and triple teams. Could you imagine how tired he was after that Niners game? Every highlight you saw, there's 3 people on him. And when he's trying to spin around, there's another guy coming up and blocking him.
The footage of that Niners game makes me so very sad because it's just when I ran back the tape, everything you saw from Donald was how no matter how creative they get, Jimmy G gets the ball out when he's one-on-one, like in 0.2 seconds. And then when he's not, he's triple teamed. So it was they know how to play us to a T. It is.
And when he's not blocked at all, it's throw and duck.
It's still insanely crazy that we beat them in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't make sense.
Especially how I thought they looked last week against the Panthers. Fully dominant effort.
Oh, they're actually no. I would say Dallas right now is my NFC team coming out, but Dallas Niners would be a great
Dallas
matchup.
and the Niners. I mean, one of those 2 teams are going to knock out Brady and Rodgers.
Oh, absolutely.
They're just tough in the trenches, especially if they're on the road and it's, tough weather. Like, Niners thrive in that weather.
It's just so funny too. It's just 2 dweeby quarterbacks right now.
They're just the least rootable. I guess Jimmy G's not the most hateable.
No, I mean Jimmy G's a paisan.
Cooper Rush.
No.
Ugh.
No, I mean he's also a backup. I'm not gonna, and I love Dak. I'm one of the people.
Sure.
He's a Dak fan myself.
That's very lovable for sure. And just going back to the Panthers defense for a second too, because I think they're good. Like, I think this is a very good unit. I think they're top 10 across all metrics if they weren't on the field for 75% of the game, because that offense is so putrid under Baker Mayfield that the combination of Brian Burns and Derek Brown and J.C. Horn and Jeremy Chin, who is currently injured, is, in my opinion, enough to turn them around. Like, that's when it gets kind of scary. And then you got Xavier Woods on the back end, and Justin Burris is also a good player. They've their defense, their pass attack, or their defensive backs rather, have collectively allowed the 9th fewest net yards per pass attempt at 5.8. So they're not giving you opportunities to attack deep middle, deep left, deep right, deep nowhere. Like, they're telling you, if you want to try to beat us, you got to beat us underneath, because we have so much protection on the back end, and we have a top 5 corner who's a rookie. They got a lot, or a second-year guy. They have enough right now that I think they're going to give the Rams a hard time. And that's what sucks the most about having to preview this game, is that as shitty as the Panthers are, and as horrible as the situation as it seems like from the outside, from week-to-week basis, it's any given week, any given Sunday. And when you got to rally around an interim head coach, and you got to rally around a backup quarterback, sometimes guys, they thrive off of that. So it's going to be on the Rams, who are hosting the Panthers in SoFi Stadium, to put them away. Like, you can't make mistakes on special teams. You're going to have better protection up front offensively. And the reason why I mentioned special teams was because you got Hecker. Nick, you mentioned a little bit of a redemption game for Hecker, who was cut. I'm sure he wanted to come back. And I hate the guy they have now. So, I mean, it takes forever. 1, 2, 3, punt, block.
2 block punts this year, right?
Yeah, it's painful to watch. And you miss a veteran like Hecker who could just step in and do the job. And I remember watching that championship game, was it? Or there was a divisional round last year against the Packers. And the Packers had, was it Lirum Harulahu? No, he's a kicker. They had the other punter that was
the guy that we were going to draft. Or we cut him.
He was in the building. Yeah, we cut him. And he was the reason why I feel like the Packers lost that game, because he was in the back of his end zone taking his time. A veteran punter is, believe it or not, something very important to have. And I'm also watching the other side of their special teams.
And a veteran kicker. I mean, Matt Gay last week misses a crucial field goal. I mean, not that it really ended up mattering, but still, you put them in really great position after missing that.
Yeah,
still though, offense drive further than a 51-yard attempt for Matt Gay to save our
after
ass.
Starting on the 30. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, painful. Raheem Blackshear, Nick, is the third running back for them. I'm pretty sure he could absolutely take one to the house. I watched them almost do it twice against San Francisco. It was the punter or the kicker was making the final play. Like, I mean, I need Joe DeCamillis to coach and prepare this unit, have them ready to go. They've been absolutely lackluster if it weren't for guys like Johnny Hecker and Matthew Gay and Brandon Powell. Like, those guys bail you out on punt returns. They bail you out on kick returns.
How about that Vikings game last year where Powell runs one back? You need that.
I mean,
so much after Stafford throws essentially 2 pick sixes.
It's amazing how 3 good special teams players can disguise your entire special teams unit. And that's what happened last year. You had Hecker punting, Gay kicking, and Brandon Powell returning punts and kicks, and everything was fine. You lose one of those pieces.
It's so funny. It's so funny because I remember we were just like, wow, Hecker's done. Like, we got to get rid of this guy. And now, come this time this year. I'm happy Hecker got his ring, though, for sure. He was definitely especially in that 2018 year when we had him doing those trick plays. I think I could almost guarantee a Panthers 4th and 3 trick play this week.
They're on their own 47.
Yeah.
4th and 3. Yeah, they're down.
Hecker throws a bomb that we're like not expecting, and it goes in for a touchdown.
Oh, dude, don't say that. I don't even. All my hair would be gone.
Maybe it was because of the immediate 6 points that Stafford fumbled away, thanks to the O-line last week. But I watched that game not like I usually do. I was just like, all right, here are the Rams. We suck, like it wasn't. It was like St. Louis Rams. Nick had stepped back in, and I'm watching in my Montclair State dorm room on my laptop, and I'm like, yep, we're gonna lose this one because of course we are.
An illegal stream.
Yeah,
I know.
Don't put that. No, it was legal.
All right, I'm gonna give you some optimism. The Rams. Before we jump into to Nick's picks, which there's going to be more optimism and chances to make some money.
Oh yeah.
But for the Rams, looks like David Long Jr., Kobe Durant, and Taylor Rapp all practiced yesterday, which is a great sign.
Slim Mamba. We got Slim Mamba back.
Slim Mamba. Yeah, they call him a shark something. The land shark.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like my nickname too, but it's kind of a combination of 2 nicknames, so I'll accept Land Shark.
Yeah, Land. I think it's a cool nickname, but I also like the Mamba nickname you came up with, Slim Mamba.
Yeah, well, Kobe.
Slim Mamba is going to be back on the field.
That's great.
Yeah, so I mean, it's exciting because when you look at our defensive backs, especially in this game, like they were depleted last week. You saw Darion Kendrick responsible for the Michael Gallup play where he was wagging his finger, and that's a lot of responsibility for a rookie. I mean, you're talking about Durant, the land shark, being out, Long being out, Hill being out, and all. This is not even a position that Kendrick was kind of really supposed to step up and play. Like, that's Robert Rochelle's role that he was drafted to come in and play 3 years ago when they inevitably couldn't bring back Darius Williams. And Rochelle showed me absolutely none of that. Shows me the opposite of it on special teams, and he can't even get himself on the field. So I feel like just the fact that we're getting 3 defensive backs in terms of depth back is a good sign for us to prevent any kind of passing attack that they're going to bring to the table. And then the offensive line too. Noteboom, potentially Bobby Evans at left guard, Skura or Cologne. I don't know which one we're going to get. I'm going to hope Skura, although Cologne seemed like he was somewhat serviceable. With Brian Allen still out, will be out throughout the bye. And then hopefully back against the 49ers. Alaric Jackson at right guard, and then Rob Havenstein. Like, hopefully what Rob Havenstein did this past week behind closed doors was enough to motivate some of these young players. And like, really all I would say is you guys all have a chance. Like, you guys are all putting on real-time film. Like, you're playing real NFL games. If you guys step up, can make plays, it might not be the Rams that you have a future with, but it's going to be another organization that's going to pay you $38 million to come in and play right guard if you're a top-tier player. Like, bring everything you got and try to own the Panthers. Like, win this game 37-15, the way that the Niners.
I was going to mention that at the end. Do you have more to say, or should I just keep going?
You keep going.
Sorry. But despite everything that we said, they're still the Rams. They're still the Super Bowl champs. You can come out in this game, and you can put a stomp on this team. I mean, I hope that closed-door meeting with those O-linemen weren't just playing Mario Kart. Because, you can dominate. You have the tools. You have to get Robinson involved. You got to give Henderson the ball more. And the defense has to kind of step up, but you have a backup. This is a chance at home to just stomp on a team like you did Atlanta and then just keep the foot down. Don't let them come back, because then everything is questioned again.
Yeah, right. We don't want to go into 2-week layover of pain and questions and, oh, this is the worst team I've ever seen. And, fans who haven't been fans for that long of a period of time just jumping right off the bandwagon. Like, you got to be sustainable. You have to be able to come out week to week and put a good product on the field. And with the Rams being home this week, Carolina Panthers fans don't travel well. It's a lower price to get in the building. Like, it's an opportunity for all Rams fans to get out there and show out.
$50 tickets.
Yeah, support if you can go to the game. I don't think you're going to be battling with any Niners fans or Cowboys fans or anything. Like, you're going to be able to own your own stadium, be in your team's stadium, and cheer Rams house and say whatever the hell else you want to say. Just support the squad and hope that they can get a win against this team.
Yeah, they should.
They absolutely should. Yeah, with Donald and Kupp and Higbee all being held out of practice on Wednesday, like,
precautionary.
Yeah, it's precautionary. You know that they're all going to be big components of this game, but I mean, like, they're wiped out, and it's only 5 weeks into the season. You got to be able to make this sustainable.
That's why you need to get Robinson involved. This should be the Robinson game. If you have him in fantasy, this is the week to play him. That's all I'm going to say.
Do you have him in fantasy, Nick?
Yes.
I thought so.
He's starting. I'm playing the one winless team in our league. And if I lose, the Los Angeles Lokies, the team I own, is going to have to fire their mascot / coach, Loki at Odinson.
I've only played top tier teams, and my record's 2-3.
Yeah, we have the same record. We have the same record.
Yeah, we have the same.
5-0, my other league. Go figure. The one I don't really care about.
The other league. Oh, I met this girl at camp, and we fell in love. We all know about the other league.
Oh, there's always another league.
Yeah. All right, Nick's picks. I'm going to quick break. Nick, you have a liquid death to crack?
Oh, I do, brother.
Oh, sounds great. Liquid Death. It's a new water brand that's out there, and you may have already heard of it. If you haven't, go to a Target, go to whatever grocery store you want. You're probably going to find it. It looks like a tall boy beer. It's actually just mountain spring water, and it's available in still, sparkling, and 3 very delicious flavors. I think our cousin Rafe drinks grapefruit Liquid Death. One of those funky flavors. I don't know, but he loves it. It's Liquid Death. There's something about drinking water out of a can, Nick. It's insanely refreshing. I heard you had some friends over this past weekend, and all 6 of your massive mountain cans were finished within 5 minutes. Fool your mom, your grandmom, have them think that you're drinking a beer, but you're actually drinking a Liquid Death. You're enjoying water. You're refreshing yourself. You're hydrating. You could sneak out. You could do whatever you want as long as you have a Liquid Death in your hand. Go get a Liquid Death at your local Whole Foods, Ralph's, Albertsons, Vons, or 7-Eleven, or find Liquid Death at a retailer near you with a store locator tool at www.liquiddeath.com/Los Angeles Football, LAFB. Here's the link below. Make sure you click it. Did you just finish your Liquid Death that quick?
No, I'm trying to chug it, but I'm not good at chugging. Murder your thirst with Liquid Death.
I was going to say, were you chugging it while I was talking?
No, I was trying to, but I'm not good at chugging. But yeah, my friends were here from Jersey this past week to celebrate my birthday, and we stopped at the local bodega, 7-Eleven, and after a night of drinking, and I got them 6 liquid deaths, and they're like, "Dude, I'm not drinking any alcohol right now." Because you look at the can, and you're like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "Just drink it, you lame wads." And then
You
they
don't
took a
even get
sip.
it.
Yeah, they took a sip, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is great."
Yep. That's what it does to people.
Are we
It's
ready
very
for next
deserved.
picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
I think there's a song. Is there a new song?
There is. Hold on, Dean.
Okay.
Welcome back to Nick's Picks Week 6, your favorite segment that you wish you tailed. Dean, I'm hearing glowing reviews from these theme songs. Pod listeners from Brazil to LA, they have ranked Nick's Picks themes as the #1 exciting addition to a football podcast. I can't believe it. Again, we had to fire another staff member, dear sweet Martha. Had to send her to the unemployment line to get this new theme song approved. But hey, you tell me if it's worth it, eh, Dean?
Right. Sounds good. You ready?
I'm ready.
So you say you don't follow Nick's picks? We don't care. Nick's picks isn't a dumb charade, cause we'll never be losers. It's not in the Vespi blood. Those kind of bets just ain't for us. We crave a winner's kind of buzz. Let me be your guru. You can call me K-Rule, and maybe K-Rule. K-Rule. We'll be in the Mario movie.
What?
So you say you don't follow
What?
Nick's
Did you
picks?
do like a backup?
It's going again.
Oh, it's going again. Oh my God. Fire the producer too. Did you have like a backup track there? Baby, I'll rule. I'll rule.
So maybe K-Rule.
That #1.
#1.
I think I'm bringing that one all the way up to. It sounded like there was the most effort involved in that one. Very, very appreciative of the work that you put in.
Oh, thank you, Dean. And so are the listeners. All right, let's go. Let's run into Nick's picks with that good energy. All right, last week, Nick's picks with another winning week. 3-2. Cardinals came really close to having a perfect week for us. That's okay. We're still winners, and that's what matters. I guaranteed money last week, and we delivered, so that feels really good. Before we get started, let's hear your lock, Dean. Dean is 0-2 in the last 2 locks.
Can I recycle my lock from last week?
Sure, if you want to go 0-3.
So I'm just going to drive it home. I'm going to go, let me think here for a second. Ben Skoranek, anytime touchdown scorer.
That's why Dean's a loser.
That's why Dean's the worst gambler. I really am.
All right. Well, the Dean's locks are done. Let's go on to the next picks. Let's get started with Tom Brady, Tampa at Pittsburgh. I'm ready to write off the Steelers as potentially the worst team in the league. Kenny Pickett needs a lot of developing, and their defense is even close to a legitimate steel curtain, if you will. Tomlin, hot seat? Maybe? No. I guess they love him over there.
Yeah.
But it's not like the Bucs are really fear-inducing. They're not a juggernaut right now, but they are fully capable to put a stomp down on a team that was only able to put up 3 points last week. The Bucs can run the ball well, and they have a strong defense, which tells me they can score early and then slow the entire game down. Tom Brady is kicking defenders that tackle him, and the refs are still on his side. It's infuriating to watch when you bet against them, but let's just jump on the Brady pirate ship and enjoy the game on his side as much as, it's not fun to do, but if you're winning money, that's what's fun. We're buying a point to make it Bucs -7. The line is -8. I don't like 8. It's too wonky of a score. I feel like they win this one by exactly 8. Most people push, but on Nick's picks, we bought the point. I think 2013 Bucs win it. And I think the under 44 is a nice candidate considering Tampa's desire to keep this game as a run-heavy game where they keep the ball on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, this game might be like 30-14, right at that number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally aligned. I think that, too, like 8 points, I think it's smart to buy the point. I was going to ask you what the spread was, but you answered my question. I'm in.
Yeah, -7. Minnesota at Miami is my next one. Dolphins on their third string quarterback. Last week, I turned the game on, and I see them getting absolutely manhandled by a Jets team. Nick's picks on the other side of the coin is loving the Vikings this year. They're helping us out a lot, and clearly us backing them is giving them good juju, so we're helping them. I love them in this 10 a.m. slot. No one's going to pay attention. You're going to turn the game on. It's going to be like, okay, 29-10 Vikings, perfect. And you're just going to pencil that one in. Vikings sit at -3.5. I don't love that either. They almost blew the lead last week to the Bears. However, we're going to have to go by another point. Vegas is making these lines just scary enough to entice you to bet on the other side. But on Nick's picks, we're making our own lines. It was Vikings -3.5. We're changing it to Vikings -2.5. I think they're going to struggle to run the ball against the Dolphins, which is going to hold them back from putting this game away. I foresee the Vikings winning by exactly 3 or 4, 28-24. Vikings take the W.
Yeah, Miami's tough enough to, I think, keep the game close or come back in the end. But the whole backup quarterback thing, and they're just the bad juju with the way they've handled the concussions and the tampering on Tom Brady and everything that's been going on with the Dolphins organization. And the Vikings are on the rise, and we love Kevin O'Connell. So, yep, I approve again.
And we want to see him 5-1 Vikings team. You know, that's I got 2 second favorite teams outside of the Rams. And Nick's picks listeners will know that they're the Giants and the Vikings.
I would say maybe the last time they had that record was the Case Keenum year where they went to the NFC Championship. And then maybe before then, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
I was going to say, I feel like it had to have been like a Randy Moss time.
Right, maybe like 98, 99. Yeah, 99 that year where they played the Rams in the divisional round. When the Rams were on their way to the Super Bowl, I think they had Chris Carter and Randy Moss in his rookie season, and Jeff George throwing in the ball.
Yeah, I love that. Moving on to Buffalo at Kansas City. Chiefs are dogs. Why? Why are they worse than the Bills? Someone please tell me. Is it the Bills' pass rush? Is it so much better than the Chiefs that they're going to make Patrick a home dog for the first time in his career? I mean, give me a break. Vegas does not have the Bills losing 3 games this early in the season, which is why it probably is messing with the total over-under. And it makes their little Super Bowl darling look bad to start the season. Look, I get it, but the Chiefs are once again the real deal. They come back. They beat the Raiders. They have the best QB of the last 5 years, and they're plenty capable in the red zone. As long as it doesn't even matter. If they have Kelsey in there, it's essentially a touchdown. The guy is a sequel to Gronk. The Bills have a tendency to lose these big, close games. And sure, they have revenge on their mind from the AFC Championship. But what did they do in that championship game? They had 13 seconds left, and their defense couldn't put it away. But this isn't the playoffs. It's the regular season. And while it'll most likely be a high-scoring, high-flying adventure, I'm running with the team that actually has won a Super Bowl. I mean, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills that the line is Chiefs +2.5. I'm 31-28 Chiefs outright money line. Enjoy the game. Go small so you're not crazy invested because it's going to be a fun one. So just enjoy it. And we usually avoid these big ticket games because I feel like they're hard to figure out which side's going to win. But I just love the Chiefs, and I think everybody is too high on the Bills.
What time is that game?
I think it's Sunday night.
Okay, I was going to say that's got to be a primetime game.
It's Sunday night, and I think Monday night is Eagles-Cowboys.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, great. Back-to-back.
I know. Great games. Better than the game that's going on tonight.
Anybody but the Broncos.
Oh, my God. Or the Bears or the Commanders. But let's run it back. Bucks adjusted line -7. Under 44 Bucks Steelers. Vikings adjusted line -3. Chiefs money line. And my quick pick, unfortunately, is Niners -5.5 over the Falcons. It's annoying to bet on the Niners, but they're a good team, and Vegas isn't valuing them enough. So just take it. And if they lose, consider it money well spent because then you're happy either way because the Niners lost. They're also overvaluing the Falcons right now because they're 5-0 against the spread. And I think this is the week that it all comes down.
I can't believe you didn't go Cowboys to cover that 5.5 or 6.5 point spread, whatever it's gone up to against the Eagles.
That's a game I know I'm going to be watching with Eagles fans. So I'm just going to try to just hope, maybe put some money on the Eagles just to root for the Eagles with them.
I was going to say, go the opposite way. Cowboys.
Well, I mean, secretly, I always root against the Eagles. So.
Yeah. I know that they're essentially, I feel like the bookmakers are looking at those 2 games like they're kind of the same. You know,
Yeah.
spread
Also,
the-
5.5 is like kind of scary because
Yeah, it's a scary number,
because
for
you
sure.
I feel like that's got to be the highest. Like, well, the underdog's probably going to win if it's 5.5. Last week, Cowboys were plus 5.5 against the Rams. So
I think I'm just going to parlay your picks this weekend.
oh yeah.
Why not?
Also, Florida Panthers play tonight. If you want some money,
No,
quick money
God.
God. Remember
No,
the
I'm
one time we bet on the Panthers when there was nothing else to bet on together, and then they became my
They
team.
won like 6-1.
Yeah.
Or was that? I don't know if I was in on that game, but I feel
No,
like
no,
I
you
heard-
were. You were.
Yeah.
I forced you to be on it because it was the only thing we could bet on. And I was in California, and I don't know why. I was like, "You have money in FanDuel, just do it. They're gonna win." And you were like, "Why?" I was like, "Because I like cats."
You do. You love the musical cats.
Yeah.
He loves Liquid Death, musical cats, and a Rams cover home win. You're not so different, you and I.
I do feel better about this game. And look at that. I was like, "Oh yeah, quick 30-minute episode, 50 minutes."
Well, we got another fun game coming up on Sunday. A little bit of a break after that. Hopefully the roster can rebuild itself. Hopefully the team's in a better position to play the 49ers in week 7 or week 8 it is. But stick with us. Keep listening to the pod. You need some therapy. You just want to listen to something Rams related. You want to check in with us, DM us, send us a message, like, subscribe, follow.
Yeah, check us out on YouTube.
Yeah,
we look
please.
great.
Check
We're
us-
just
check us
hunky
on
guys. Just watch us as we talk.
Yeah, put us on in the background. We don't care. We'll also give you shorts every other day, so you got something to scroll by when you're stuck on your phone.
Yeah, or a maybe another giveaway. If the
Maybe.
Rams cover 11 points, I'll do another giveaway.
Love it. Sounds good. Hold you to that. All right,
Take
guys.
care,
Thanks
everybody.
for listening. We love you. Go Rams. Peace.